Is Prosper, and in this video I'm going to be taking you step by step how to create a WordPress website. So either you are a beginner when it comes to website design generally, or you are new to WordPress or Elementor and you really don't know how to use all of this platform to create website, just sit back and relax. In this video I'm going to be taking you through everything you need to know about creating a professional looking and responsive website using WordPress. So if that interests you, do make sure you watch this video to the end. So before we get into the video, let me give you a tips of what we are going to be covering in the course of this video. So what we are having right here is the website we are going to be recreating. So this is what we are going to be using as a guide in creating our website. Remember, we are going to be creating the website from scratch. So this particular video is going to be giving you every details that you need to help you achieve that professionalism and that solid foundation when it comes to creating a professional website using WordPress. So like we're having here, this is more like an event website. So you can see it, a light event. That's the name I just gave it. So it says, here we have welcome, an light event. And here there is a text here. You can see with a little effect here. You know, your ultimate partner in crafting memory events, a memorable event. And this memorable keep changing from memorable to seamless. So you can just play around with it and then see what you can come up with. And if you notice, I tried scrolling down and you can see that this header color changed from white to gold background. So all of these I'm going to be putting you through. So this is the home page of the website we are going to be recreating with each of these sections and the container, everything I'm going to be putting you through in the course of this video. So let's scroll down. This is just an excerpt from the About Us page. So here we have services we offer, and if you look at it, once I hover my mouse over each of these services, you see that it's creating a kind of effect. So you can see here we have the services offered, and then we have why choose a light event, and then a call to action and a phone number for them for visitors to call. And then here we have is our footer, which is having the logo that can take us back to the home page with some text. Here we have a quick links, a contact information, and then social link to the social media platform for this particular website. And here in this footer we have this this footer text, designed with love by PhD Tech. So basically, if you're also planning to create websites for other businesses, or you want to become a freelancer or start an agency where you create a website, having this at the footer can come very handy. It can help you send in traffic to your website or give you leads. You know, when people go on other people's website and they see designed and managed by so agency, you know, you can just put yours here. Once they click on it, it takes them to your website. So you can see this website is not that long in terms of the home page. You don't need to scroll too much based on the services. So there's no need to have too many sections, especially for a website like this. You know, there are some websites that you might need to have so many informations on the home page, but this is not one of them. So here is what the home page is currently looking like. So let's quickly look at other pages. We have the home page, we have the About Us, the services, the gallery, and the Contact Us. So now let's take a look at the services page. So here is the services page, and you see that some of the content on the services page are found on the home page, especially this section. So there's a part of it that is going to be a copy and paste section to make our work much more easier. And this part also, which you also see on the home page, and then we have the footer section. Okay, so now let's look at this the next page, the Contact Us page. So you can see the Contact Us page having the basic information that you can just put on the website so that visitors can contact the address, the phone number, and the email. And then you can see I make sure that this particular section is across all the pages. So all of these I'm going to be putting you through. So let's look at the gallery. So there's something interesting there. And here we have the About Us section. So this kind of website is very good for maybe, let's say, small businesses or businesses that wants to just have that online presence. Exactly. So having a website like this will come very handy. You can see the this section having the About Us, the background. You can see the background is fixed as we scroll through. So let's look at the gallery. All right, so this is the gallery section. I so much love this part because of the effect that it's giving. You can see, you know, depending on the services you offer, what kind of website, you might need a gallery section. For example, like this events website, pictures plays a very significant role. And that's why when you see the home page, a lot of pictures are in different strategic position, like we're having this here. if you look at the services, I only showed 3 services, but I make sure that there are pictures that relate to the service that is being offered by the website. So you can see it here, and then you can see there's pictures here. Okay, so if you look at the gallery section, it is divided into category, well design and layout. We have, maybe if you want to arrange all your gallery accordingly or by categorize them properly. So if you click on wedding, you see pictures that has to do with wedding based on previous job anyway. Then if you click on birthday, you can see, so you can sort out these pictures accordingly. And then for corporate, maybe for corporate events that you've covered before, and then you want to have that section, then you can do that using it. So all of the plugins that you're going to be using to achieve all of these, I'm going to be showing you all of this in the course of this video. So if that interests you, please do make sure you watch the video to the end. And if you are new to this channel, please kindly click on that subscribe button right now to subscribe. It's absolutely free to do that. So just for the next 10 seconds, kindly do that now. Kindly go ahead and click on that subscribe button to subscribe to the channel. All right, so thank you very much if you have just done that. So now let's get started. So if you are to start with a web design, so there are 2 things that you are going to need. Number 1, you're going to need a domain name and hosting. Exactly. So domain name basically is, another name is a website name. For example, facebook.com, google.com, instagram.com. These are what we refer to as domain names. So those are things that users are going to type into their browser to access your website. Exactly. So it's as simple as that. Then for hosting serves as a storage space for all the information on your website. Exactly. So all these things that you are seeing, the images, the text, everything, they are information that are stored on a particular server. So where all of these things are being stored is referred to as the host. Exactly. So to get your hosting, just come over to this website. You can see the link showing on the screen. So just come over to this website and you'll be redirected here. So you can see everything you need to create your website. And if you are using, there's a high chances that you're going to be getting a discount. Like you can see here, up to 75% off on hosting. So once you are here, there's currently a deal going on. Like I said, you might be lucky to get maybe a more better deal, but this hosting platform come highly recommendable. So just come over here to claim a deal, and then you'll be asked to pick a perfect plan. Now there are different plans here. We have the premium, the business, and the cloud startup for your hosting. Okay, so depending on your budget, you might want to go for the premium. Exactly, there's no problem since you are just starting out. So you can see the basic difference between the premium, the business, and the cloud startup. In terms of the price, you can see it's $299 per month. That's for the 48 months term. That's 4 years. And then here $399 per month, and here we have $799 per month. So if you also scroll down, you're going to see some of the basic difference. For this premium, you can have up to 25 websites on each account. Here 50 and here 100. Manage hosting for WordPress, and then the basic difference is offering 25 gig SSD storage, while this is 50 gig NVMe storage. So, but whichever one you choose, if you have a good budget, you can go with the business plan, which happens to be the most popular plan anyway. However, if you are low on budgets, you might consider going with the premium. Okay. So for me now, let's go ahead and choose the business plan. So just go ahead and click on business. So once you're on the business plan, then you choose the period. So for 48 months, this is the total, $199.52. But if you don't want to go for that 4 years plan, you can choose from 1 month, 12 months, 24 months, and 48 months. But the higher the months you choose, the more discounts you are going to be getting. Is that good? Okay. So let's say we are going with the 12-month plan. And remember, it's going to be coming with a free domain. You can see, great news, you got a free domain for 1 year with this order. So what that means is that, remember I said you are going to be needing 2 things to get started with the website. You're going to be needing a domain and hosting. So now that we've gotten the hosting, and now the hosting is giving us a free domain, so that sorts it out already. Okay. So, but that's if you are taking the 12 months. If you pick the 1 month plan, you are not going to get a free domain. Exactly. So you need to take note of that. So if you're okay with this, just click on continue. And here you'll be asked to create an account. Exactly. So what you just do is you go ahead and enter your email, your password, and then you click on register. So once you are done with your registration, you're going to be taken to this page where you are going to enter your billing address. So make sure you fill in all of this information. And then on the other side, you're going to be seeing the order summary. So we selected a 12-month plan with a total of 4788. So you can see now this hosting comes with daily backup. What it basically means that it's going to be saving a copy of your website on daily basis. Exactly. And this can come very handy. There might be time where you might experience issues with your website. Exactly. Maybe you're working on something on your website and you mistakenly crashed your website. You can easily come back to your hosting, to the back end of your hosting platform and restore a previous backup. So you can see we're also getting a domain name for a free domain and then zero setup fee. All of this, at the end of the day, we're having 4788 as what we're going to pay with a 77% discount of about $160. So this is the total here. So once you fill in your billing details and then you click on the continue button. So here you get an option where you are going to be making payments. So either you're making payment with your card, with PayPal, Google Pay, or Alipay. So there are different, and then okay, CoinGate. So there are different payment gateway here that's available for you to make your payments. So, and if you're making your payments, if you're watching from countries that doesn't allow card payment like Nigeria, you can then select the option of Triple Cash, Comes Handy, and Gray. So Gray is also highly recommendable because that's what I use personally. So you can use Gray to make payments if you can't use any of the other payment that is available here. So after making your payments for your hosting and the domain that you're going to get, so the next page you're going to be directed to is here, which is the back end of your hosting account. So what you do now is you can see you see it, hello and whatever name you used while signing up. So you come over to websites and then you click on website list. Now you see this option here to click add website. So let's click in add website. So we are working with WordPress. So you're going to click WordPress here. And here you are going to be asking some questions, more like a survey, so you can choose to answer them or you can skip them. But let's just pick them. Let's say, okay, I'm creating a website for myself or my business. Click on next. So the next thing you have to enter is here is asking us to create login details for your WordPress account. So this is where you're going to create your login details that you are going to be using to log into the back end of your WordPress website. So whatever you're choosing here, you have to take note of it so that you don't forget. You might need to write it down or maybe save it somewhere. Exactly. So it's very important. And whatever you are choosing as your password, you can, so like you can see here, WordPress admin, mail, administrator password. And for your password, you need to take note of all of this. You must have one number, one lowercase letter, 8 to 50 character, one symbol, one uppercase, only Latin letters. So take note of this. So once you have done filling these details, just click on next. So here you'll be asked, choose how you'd like to build your website. So we are working with a blank template. Remember I said we are building it from scratch. So go ahead and click on create blank site. So now it's for us to pick our domain. Remember, so we've gotten hosting already. The next thing is our domain. Now remember that based on the plan that we choose, we can, yes, it says claim free domain, buy a new one, or confirm a domain you already own. So there are three options here. But however, there are chances that this first option is what applies to you because you just purchased the domain, an hosting from them, so you have to get a free domain. So what you do is you enter the domain name that you want to use. Don't forget I said the domain name is your website name. That's the name that you're going to be using to log into your website. Exactly. So since you have the free domain to claim, just go ahead and type it here. And but for the purpose of this video, I already have a domain that I want to use. Exactly. So and the domain is, I hope I still have it copied. So this is it. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'll be using this particular domain, gazegpt.com, even though it's not, doesn't align with the theme of the website we are creating. Okay, so we are creating an events website, but for tutorial purpose, I'll be using this. Okay, and if you want to claim your domain, once you type in the domain you want to use, if the domain is available, you see an option to claim just beside the domain. Exactly, you see claim this domain here. So with that, you'll be able to claim your domain. So it's very easy. But for me now, I have this domain already. I think I registered it on a different registrar, Dynadot. So I can just come here, put it here, and then this is it. I select it. So it says this domain is registered at another provider. You will have to verify you own it when you connect it to your site. So no problem. So what this means is that if you are bringing in a domain from another registrar, exactly. So maybe, and it's not compulsory you claim your free domain immediately. So maybe you already have a domain from another registrar like I have that you want to use. Exactly. So you can go ahead and put it, but what you need to do is you go to that registrar and change the name server. Exactly. Make sure you change the name server to Hostinger name server. I think their name server is ns1.dns-packing.com, then ns2. So just do that, and then it's time they are going to link after a few minutes. Okay, so I hope you got that. So now that this is done, the next thing you click on, install WordPress. So if you're finding value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. So right now, WordPress is currently being installed. So he said this might take a few minutes, so let's just wait and see. We might not need to wait. So we can see we're already at 100%. Voila. So now we have WordPress already installed on our hosting platform already. And after the installation, we are going to be redirected to the WordPress dashboard. So now we have left our hosting and now we are in our WordPress dashboard, and this is what it's currently looking like. So if I should click on WordPress dashboard itself, so you can see welcome to WordPress, and this is what it is. So let's look at what our website currently looks like. So if I come here, visit site, let me open it in a new tab. So this is what our website currently looks like. And what we are going to be doing right now is we are going to be taking it from this to this. Exactly. So everything that you need to know about creating a WordPress website, like I said, I'm going to be showing you how we are going to take our website to this. So now let's come back here. So now this is the dashboard. This is what you can see. These are the options that we are having currently. So as we add more themes and more plugins, you're going to be having more options here. So you might need to pay attention. But let me just show you this. Now this is Hostinger by default. That's the hosting that we are using. That's why we are having this here. So here we have posts. So this is where you are going to be. If you want to add posts like to the blog section of your website, this is where you're going to do that. And this is the media. So this is where you are going to be having all your media files, your images, your pictures, your videos. You know, your if you have PDF files that you want to put there or downloadable files under the media, you find them. Now the pages, we are going to be using this more often because this is where you're going to be having all your pages, your home page, your about us, your services pages. We are going to be creating it. You can see add new page. Then the comments. So once you get comments on your website, especially if you run a blog, so you see a notification here, just like we are having here, update one, you're going to be seeing comment and then number of comments that you have. Then for appearance, we currently have two options under appearance, but once we add a theme, you're going to be seeing more options. But right now we already have themes and editor. Here we have plugins. And so basically plugins are they are, should I call them apps, or let's just call them plugins that add more functionalities to your website. Exactly. So here we have the users. So this is where you're going to create, if you want to add more users or you want to edit your account as a user. That means you want to edit maybe your display name or your information that you are going to be using to log in into the backend of your website. Exactly. And as the administrator also, if you want to give other people access to the backend of your website, you know, and whatever access you want to give them, maybe the admin or the subscriber or editor. So you do it from here. And then tools, these are the options available under tools. Then we have settings. So we have general writing, reading, discussion, media, permalinks. So just go through, we might be going through some of them, if not all, but you can also go through them to see what's there. Then this light speed is a plugin, you know, that helps to increase the speed of your website. So by default, our hosting automatically installed this for us, which is okay. All right. So now that we have WordPress installed, now we can get started with creating our website itself, and we've seen what our homepage looks like. So the first thing we are going to be installing is our theme. So to do that, we come to appearance and then click on themes. So these are the themes that you'll find on the back end by default. So this 2025, 2024, but we're not going to be using any of these things. Exactly. So themes generally is the same thing as the themes that you find if you use a mobile device. It's just that it's not so common. Maybe it's just me. You know, if you install a new theme on your phone, you see the kind of, it changes the interface of your phone. It can go as far as changing the icon of some of your apps, the way your phone displays and all those things. So just the same way it does to your phone is the same thing here, you know, the themes. So the theme, for the purpose of this tutorial, you are going to be uploading a new theme or selecting a new theme from the list of themes here. So if you look at it here, there are over 7,000 themes here that you can make use of, and they are all free. You can see different themes are available here. But the one we are going to be using is Flux. So I'm just going to search it here. So that's PHLOX. Okay. Okay, so this is the theme that we are going to be using. So since we already know what we want to use, there's no need to preview it. So you can just go ahead and install it. So once it is installed, then go ahead and activate it. So there's a difference between installing a theme and activating it. Activating it means you are selecting it that, okay, this is the theme that I want to use. As you can see now, we have a total of 4 themes here, but only this is activated. So that means this is the one we are using, not this. And the ones that you are not using, you can just go ahead and delete them just to reduce some space on your website or your hosting. So let's just delete these ones. So just click on it and you see the delete option. Okay, so now that we've installed this, let's see if it will make any difference on our website. So view sites. So if you remember, compared to what we had earlier, there's a little change in what we are having here. So that's what the theme will do. It will create some level of change to everything about your website. Okay, so now let's go back to the back end of our website. So after installing this, it's saying that thanks for choosing Flux. To take full advantage of Flux theme and enable demo importer, please install this core plugin. So let's go ahead and install the core plugin as required by the theme. And while this is installing, you will notice that we are having more options on this left panel of our screen here. You can see even under appearance, before we had only theme and was it editor? But now we have more options. We have pattern, customize widgets, menu, flux, install plugin. So you can see we are having more options and now even more options. Exactly. So we're having more options, even Elementor and the likes. Okay. Now, since I said we are going to be creating our website from scratch, so that means we don't need to import any demo. So what we are going to do now is let's start with our home page. That's the page I usually like to start with when creating my website. However, we might need some plugins, but because of the, okay, let's go ahead and check out the plugins. I think we might need to install a particular plugin. Let's just confirm if it is there. So come over to plugins. So these are the plugins that we currently have installed. Elementor is already there. We are going to be needing this. Then there's another plugin that we are going to be making use of, which is, so add new. So that's EA essential add-ons. So essential add-ons for Elementor. So let me go ahead and install this. So actually it's a plugin that has some pro features of Elementor itself. Exactly. So let me just, once you install it, you should be asking some of these questions now. So you can just skip this, get started with essential add-ons. So let's just skip this. Okay, next, let's just next. Okay, let me go to the previous. Okay, choose your preferred mode for essential add-on. Okay. So I think the basic is fine based on what we need. So click on next. So these are the things that you're going to be getting. So just click on next, next. Let me skip this. It wants to install some additional things that I might not need. So let me just skip this. Okay, and then finish. So you click on. So there are some other things that it wants to actually install, which we don't need again. So let me just click on finish. Okay. So that is set up already. Now, what this essential add-on is, there's a particular feature there. This, you can see this effects. That's a plugin that is responsible for this particular effect. So that was why I needed to add it. All right, so now let's go back to this. So I think for now we have everything that we need to get started. So what we'll do is come over to pages. So now we want to start with the home page. So come here to add new page. So welcome to block editor. So you can just next this and read everything that is there. And click on get started. So like I said, we are starting out with our home page. So now let me just add a title, which is home. So that's the first thing we're going to do. There's nothing much we are going to change there for now. So once you've given it a title, so you come here and select the template. So you can see it here, the template. Click on it, default template. You change it to Elementor full width. Exactly, Elementor full width. So once you do this, you publish. So we publish. Now let's view our page. open a new tab, and let's see what the home page currently looks like. So if you're finding value in this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are still here to subscribe, please click on that subscribe button right now to subscribe to the channel. So this is our home page now. So this home page is what we are going to be taking to this. So we are going to bring in all of this into our home page. Exactly. So now we can go ahead and close this. So once we have added the title, we've published, so let's click on the next thing, to click on edit with Elementor, because that's what we are going to be using to create all of those designs and those effects. So once this opens up, you can just skip this notification. Okay, so now let's get started with everything we need to do. Okay, so this is the navigator. So you can see easy navigator. As you go on, you're going to understand what it is used for. Makes it easy to access different sections of the website. Okay, so let me just take you through the overview of what we are having here. So right here are what we call elements. As you can see here, elements. So these are all of the elements that we are going to be using to create our websites. This is for the layout. This is at the basic. This is for editing. If you need editing, if you need images or video, these are the elements you are going to drag into whatever sections exactly or container that you want to place those elements. So if you scroll down, there are a lot of them. So these are pro elements. You know, we are currently using the basic Elementor version, but if you are using the pro, you are going to be having access to all of these. The ones with padlock on it and are locked out. They are pro features. So if you scroll down, there are more general features. You can see the tabs, the image box, the gallery, the icon list. Generally, you won't be needing everything exactly, but you're going to be needing a lot of them. So these are some other pro elements that are available. So these are another elements. The theme itself that we installed also, it has its own elements. That's why you are saying it. You can see the Flux General. All these are powered by the theme that we installed. So you'll be using a different theme and you won't be seeing this particular one here. And another thing you need to know is that some are similar. You get? So this is modern heading. They call theirs modern heading. Advanced image they might have a little difference from that of Elementor itself. You can see we have heading here, we have image here. So theirs might have a little difference, you know, in the outlook. Okay, then the plugin that we installed, the essential add-ons, they also have their own elements. So as you can see here, they also have their own element here. So basically, these are all the things we are going to be dragging into the website for us to create our own website. You can see WordPress itself has its own set of elements also. So basically, you can see a whole lot is here for us to work with. So with that being said, so let me scroll up again. So those are the widgets, and then we have the global. Okay, so let's still leave that. Now, if you come over here to where we have this Elementor logo here, so you can see this is history. So what it means is that if you are working on a design and you need to revert back to something that you did before, you can come over here to undo. Yeah, so that's the right word there, to undo anything. So you can just do it via the history. Exactly. If you want to add elements, if you click here, it's going to show all of this. So right here, we have the desktop view, the tablet, and the mobile view. So one thing you also need to take note of is while you are creating your design, make sure you switch between the desktop and the mobile, and sometimes between the tablet view, to make sure that it is appearing properly. Exactly, because sometimes you might just get carried away working on the desktop view, and you might not even remember to check if it is also responsive on the mobile view. And in that case, you might just create a good looking website in desktop view, but when you open it on mobile, you see that it is not looking properly. Maybe the text is too big and it is okay on desktop, but it's not okay on mobile. So you need to switch between both and to ensure that the sizes and everything is on point. So these are other features there. This is just to make a preview, and every changes that you are making on any page when you are working on Elementor, make sure you always publish. That means a way of saving it to make sure that the effect is already made on the website, so that you can see it when you view it outside the website itself. Don't worry, all of this will still make sense to you as we proceed. All right, so now let's get started. So let's look at this is the fourth section we are having. So let's go ahead and bring in all of this text. So this is the welcome to Elite event. So let's go ahead and put this in. So this, we are going to be using heading to create this too. So to do that, we are going to be creating this. So we are going to be making use of a flex box here. So we are going to be making use of this direction column, of this column here. So let's just put this. So we already have this. So this section, this is it. So these are some other features that comes with it. So we are still going to be touching them as we progress, so you don't worry. So now I want to bring in an element. You can see the element has disappeared because I've introduced a container here. But if I need it, I just click on this plus button here. So you can see add elements. So the elements are back. So I can just drag this text because I need an heading here. So then I paste whatever it is I want to put, welcome to. So that sorts that out. We are still going to format them, but let's go ahead and add the text. So the next text I want to add is a light event. So let me just copy this. So like I said, it's still the same. So just, okay, sorry, I didn't duplicate this. I was supposed to duplicate. Okay. So let me duplicate. So this first one, let me check, that will be welcome to. So a light event. So after this, let's go back and see. So the next is to add your ultimate partner in creating seamless events. So let me just copy it. And so for us to add that part, we are going to add a particular element called fancy text. Okay, so this is it. So it's that plugin that we uploaded, that's EA. So you can see it, EA, that's what is responsible for this. So you can just drag it underneath it and then, okay. So now let's go ahead and just design all of this before we add the button. Exactly, so because that's the only thing left for this particular section. For this is an entire section like this. So you can see that the structure is gradually adding up. So for this particular container, let's call it container, you can see what is left now is for us to add the button. So now let's go ahead and format this. So the title, so once you click on it, it shows this side, this panel on the left. So here you can see the heading, and then let's come to style. So let's put it at the center. Let's change the typography. So so this way you're going to change the font. So that's check global font. So got it. So I want to use a particular, I think the name of that font is Alex Brush. Okay, so then for this, so the same thing, we're going to put it at the center. Okay, I didn't change the color. Let's see what color is this. So this is a shade of yellow. So you can see this is another way to pick a color from a website that you are not too sure of what the color is. So you can just come on the website, you right click, and then you're going to see inspect element. So you just go through the set of codes that will be there. You'll be able to, so you can see it here. So you can see it, and you can see that Alex Brush, that's the font for this. Remember I mentioned it's this particular welcome to. Let's go back to typography. Alex Brush, that's the name of this font. So you can see that by inspecting it, it has already given us an idea of it. You can see font family, Alex Brush, and it's showing that this is the color. So that's another way of getting to know. So let me also confirm this. So you can see for this particular Elite event, it's already telling me the name of the font that was used, which is Roboto Sheriff, and the font size 30 pixel, the color is white. So that's another tip there. Once you see a website and you're not sure of the X code for the color that was used, you can easily do this. Exactly. So let me check for this yellow. So this is color. So for me to add color to this now, we'll come over to, you can see text color. So let me go ahead and just paste this there. So you can see to give us that color. Don't worry, to be more visible. So since we have used this yellow color, the best thing for you is to save the color. So let me just click on this plus so that we don't need to start copying the code here and there or guessing what the code is. So let me just give it a name, yellow. And then I click on create. Okay. So if you want to adjust the weight, let me make it a little, I think it's too thick. So let me make it to 300, I think, okay. Let's see what 400 looks like. Okay, so let me leave it at 400. So if you want to transform it, there are different, maybe you want to change everything to uppercase or lowercase. So there are a lot of options here. If you want to change the line height, letter spacing, word spacing, exactly. Okay, so I think we are done with that. Let me move to this. So let me also format this. So let me come to typography. So let me change the font to, so since we've been able to know what the font family is, that's Roboto Serif. And then the size, we've seen it to be 80 pixels. Okay. And then the weight, let's see, I think it's okay like that. Let's do it as a default. So, and then the color is white, but don't worry, we can't change the color now because it won't be visible. So let's still leave that. So we'll still come back to it once we add a background. So let me do this fancy text also. So if you look at what we are having here, so I can close this now. So your partner in creating, so seamless event and celebration. So for you to do that, you can see the prefix text, which is, so that's where you're going to be having your partner. So I think I can just easily copy this. Okay, your ultimate partner in crafting. So that's where you're going to paste it. Your ultimate partner in crafting. So the first string is the one that is changed. So I think we used to in creating. So once I click this, let me change it to in creating seamless. So you can change the words around depending on what kind of website you are creating. Seamless. Then the second word should be memorable. So your partner in creating seamless and memory. So the suffix text is, let's go back and check, events and celebration right here. Events and celebration. So let me copy this. Events and celebration. So you can see we already have this already. All right, so what next? Now we are still going to change the colors, but once we add the background so that we can see it very well. So let me go ahead and add the button. So if you look here, we are having these two buttons here. So for us to add this button, the way it appears here, so what we need to do is, let's come back here, is we are going to add, let's come back to this plot. We are going to add a new container inside of it. Exactly. So for us to do that, we are going to drag a container right underneath this, like this. And then, okay, before we pick the direction, let me quickly add the elements that we're going to be using so that you understand the essence of this direction. Remember, I said I'm going to be explaining all of this as we use it. It will make more sense like that. So what we want to bring in here are buttons. So you click on this plus to go back to elements. Don't forget, sometimes it can be very confusing, especially as a beginner, how to navigate all of these things. So for button, so you can see this is the button here. So what you do is you drag it in. Are we good? So now we can go ahead and format this button. Now remember that we have two buttons. So if I should come here and duplicate it, so you can see that this button align just above each other. Exactly. And we want it to be side by side at the center. So for us to achieve that, what we are going to do is you just click here where we have, and then you'll be back to this edit container. And then for the direction of item, just click on roll horizontal. So you can see it. Then to justify the content, place it at the center. Are we good? So you see that there are other options too here. So just justify it to the center. You can see if you put it at the end, this is where it will go. If you put it space evenly, you can see if you say space around, you say space evenly, you say justify starts, but we want it to be at the center. So I hope you can see that. So the next thing for us is to format it. So let's do that. So the first one is having, what's the text on it? Services. So let's just click here and then let's change it to services. Okay, so services. So we are still going to add the link once we create other pages. So we're going to add the link, that's the URL, so that once they click it, it takes them to the services page. Now, if you look at, there are some effects on this thing that once I hover it, it changes from, it has a red background and white outline. But once I hover it, you can see the color changes. So let's do that. For you to achieve that, we are still here. So you come over to style, and then here you can also change the typography. Okay, so let me check the typography. Let me make it a little bigger. Let me make the text a little bigger. So let's say, so let me leave it at 18. Let me leave the font the way it is. Then the text color is white, which is okay. Then the background, I want it to be red. So let me go here and pick the, so I want a classic color, not a gradient. The meaning of gradient is two colors. When you have two colors, but I want to just one color. So I just choose classic and I select the color that I want. So I don't have the color here, so I can just pick it here. So I want this shade of red so that I can, for me to be able to use this particular red again, I'll just click on plus so I can save it. So let me save it as red and create. Okay, so that is done. If you want to add the box shadow, you do this. You can see it has created a shadow. Then you can walk around the color of the shadow that you want with those options. So border radius, border type, if you want a solid, so you see solid color has appeared. How thick do you want the border color should be? So you can select its border width. So I can just select maybe 2 is fine by me. Then the border color also, you can also change it. White is okay by me. Then the border radius. So what this border radius means, it will, instead of having sharp edges, you see as I increase it, you see that the edges, just you can see it's becomes it curves. So that's the meaning of this border radius. So I'm doing it across the 4 edges. If I don't want it across all the 4 edges, maybe just a particular edges, I'll first of all unlink it. You can see. So once I do only for the left, you see I'm doing only for the left. You can see it's only this part that changes. Okay. So, but I just want to have it as, let's see what 10 looks like. I think that's okay like that. And there's this padding which I won't be using. Okay. So you can see I've already edited, but the over effect is not yet there. So as I'm hovering over it, it's not making any effect. So for me to do that, I'm still here. I'm switching from normal to over. So I click on over. So once I over it, I want the text to change to red. So I'll select red. So you can see it's easy for me to pick the colors now since I've saved it. Okay, and I want the background now, once I over it to be, you can see it's red once I over it. So I want the background to be color to be white. Do I have white here? No, so let me create. So let me save it's also white. So the home page is pretty much the one that takes a lot of time. Once we are done with the home page, other pages we just get it without wasting time. So you can see we're already creating that effect that we want. So the border color is set to, I think it's okay like that. So then over animation. So that means once I override it, if you see what's happening here, once I override the image, it grows. So that's, for you to achieve that, you come to over animation. So you select, maybe if you want it to shrink, so you can see it will shrink like this. If you want it to grow, it grows. So there are different options available. You can see that you can choose from. If you want it to boost, so you can see it here. Okay, so let me just leave it as grow. And every other thing, let's leave it the way it is. Now, in order to save us the time of repeating this here, I can just go ahead and duplicate this. So once that is duplicated, I can delete this. So once that is done, then I'll just come here and change the text here from services to book now. So book now. So then I can just go ahead and change the color. So I'll come to style. And then I want the background color. So let me change it to black. Okay, black is not available. Let me just add it here. So I want this shade of black, 2323. Then I just save it. Okay, so black. So let me just leave it as the same effect. So don't forget, we've not added link to it here. So we're still going to do that much later. Okay, so now if you look at it with what we have here, we've been able to create this first section. We need to add the background. So let's quickly add the background. So let's come back here. So before we go ahead to add the background, like I said, don't forget to always click on this publish button. It's very important. And then, so another thing I want to just do is to cross-check the mobile view and see if all the sizes and everything we pick is looking well on mobile view. So once I switch to mobile, okay, so as you can see, this particular fancy text is overlapping each other. But apart from that, the welcome to the Elite event and the services, they look good on mobile view. So for us to do this, let's come back here. So what we'll do is we reduce the size. So you come to style. So let's start one after the other. So for the prefix style, let's reduce the typography. So let's make it, so let's see what 14, or 18, let's see. So I'll reduce it for the 3 text style. So for these two, let's change it to 18. Sorry. And then the third one, let's also change it to typography, size, and then 18. So I think this is better now. So don't forget to publish. Okay. All right. So now let's return back to our desktop view. So now that is done, let's go back and add a background to this. Now, before we add a background to this, now let's check out this container. For the container height, so you can see it's pretty much from here to here. So let's increase the height. So let me change it from pixel to VH. So let's just leave it as 100. So you can see. Okay. Now, and I also want everything inside this container to be at the middle. So what I'll do is I'll come over here. You can see content constant alignment. I want it to be at the center. It's okay. So already there. I'll select this center, so I can just undo this. So you can see everything is already at the center. So now let me go ahead and add the background. So I click here. It's still within this container. I come over to style. I see background is classic, gradients, video, and then slideshow. So let's see. I think it's slideshow we used here. You can see. So this is slideshow because you can see it is changing. So that's slideshow. So to achieve that, I'll select slideshow. This classic is maybe you want to use just one image or just a single color background. And this gradient is if you want to have it as 2 colors. If you want to add video, you select this option. So you just put in the video link. And if you want to have slideshow, which we are going to be using. So I'm going to click here to select the images that we are going to be using. So to select the images, so just once you click here, then you can either copy it from your system or you drag it into it. So I have it here. So if you have to get image for your web design, so you can always get your images from pixels. So that will be download. Okay. So you can get your images from pixels. Now these are the pictures the images I'm going to be using. And if you notice, you see that all the images are titled appropriately or accordingly. So you can see. So let me just upload everything into the WordPress site so that I don't need to come back and start uploading them. And then this is the logo also. I have to logo here. So before I drag them into the website, so just make sure that you title them accordingly, to make sure that it fits the purpose of the website itself. I think I forgot to do this by Jonathan. And the reason is for SEO purposes, exactly. So that if people are searching for, use those keywords to search for your services. For example, hire DJ, event DJ for party in Lagos. If this image should come up via maybe on Google Images and they click on it, it will send the traffic to the person to the website. So you can see it helps to generate leads also. So make sure you title them appropriately and accordingly, but don't try to spam it. So let me just drag everything in. So while that is uploading, I said you can get your images from Pexels, PEXELS.com. So that's where I got all of these images from. So, and they are very free. You can see free stock images, royalty free. Exactly. So just type in the keyword. So let me say event planning. So you can see you can see, I think this is part of the pictures the images that I used. And then if you want, maybe you can also filter it based on orientation. Maybe you want it horizontal or you want it vertical. So let me show you the difference between horizontal and vertical. For example, this particular image is vertical. You can see is vertical. This is horizontal. So depending on what you want, you can just filter it and then you go ahead and download it. They are free images. Okay. So another thing you need to do is when you upload your image is the title that you have given it before you upload it, it will appear here. So just make sure you also copy it and paste it in your alt text. That's also for all SEO purposes. So these are some little things that you should take note of while creating your website. Just in case you are hearing the background noise, it's about to rain now, so sorry about that. That's nature. So I'll just go ahead and copy everything and then we continue. All right, so I've gone ahead to upload all the images that we are going to be using, so that will save us some time. However, since we want to upload some images for that particular section, I'm just going to be uploading a few of them. So let me untick this. Okay, so let me just use, so let me go ahead and check this. Let me just use about 5. You can use as many as possible, but let me just use these 3 for that section. So create a new gallery. So you can decide to rearrange them, whichever way that pleases you. So once you're okay, you click on Insert Gallery. Okay, so you can see what we are having here. So there are other settings that you can do here. So if you scroll down, infinite loop is yes. So what it means is that if once the 3 images, you can see they are switching between each other. At the end of the 3 images, they start again. Again, that's the meaning of infinite loop. Then the duration is how long with each image stay before it changes to the next one. So let me just change it to 3000. So that should be a, so let me just change it to 3000. Then the transition, how do you want it to change? Do you want it to fade like it is doing now, or you want it to slide to the right? You can see there are different options available. You can see sliding to the right, but I just want to keep it as fade. Then the transition duration talks about how fast or how slow do you want it to change. So let me change that. Personally, I want to change it from 500 to 2000. Then the background size, I want it to cover. Okay. So you can just try all of these and then you see the effect and then so that you know what it looks like. Then the background position, you can decide, okay, center to center the images and the likes. So keyboard effect is, okay, let me just turn it on. You can see it is zooming, more like it is zooming in. You can see the direction either in or out. So you can see what it looks like. Okay, so let's see. Now you notice that this is looking a little dark. You see that it's looking a little dark compared to what we're having here. So why it's looking like that is because there's a background overlay. So you also click on background overlay. So I want to add a color to the background. So once I click here, so let me see if I can see a light color. Okay, so you can see it. If I want it to increase the opacity or I reduce the opacity, so I can do that here. Okay. So this is another option, shape divider, but I won't be using it. It will just create some effects either below or above the container, but I won't be making use of it here, but you can try it out. All right, so with this, let's publish. Now for this light event, I can go ahead and change the color to white. So text color, let me change it to white. Then text shadow, let me bring in a shadow. So let me make the shadow more visible. Okay, and then for this also, let me change the color. Now I can go ahead and change the color to white. I think that's what is here too. Then for the fancy text, the color that we used was yellow. So let's see. A solid color, yellow. And then for the surface text, also white. Okay, so don't forget to publish. And with what we are having here, we've been able to complete the first section of this, you can see. So let's continue. Now we are done with this section. Now let's go ahead and create. Don't forget there's a button here that you can use to hide this panel, this side panel, and if you want to make it visible. Okay, and don't forget this structure here can come handy. So we are done with this, everything about this container. So now let's go ahead and create another one. So we click here and then, so let's create another flexbox. And this time let's select, okay, let's select 3 container. So let me just delete one because we actually need 3. So we are going to be using this to create this section here. So this personalized training, creative excellence, and reliable team. Now, before we do this, I need to also mention, let me also give you this other tip. If you need content for when creating your website, you can always use ChatGPT to do that. So you can head over to ChatGPT and then you put in a prompt. Let's say, you can tell that create content. create a comprehensive, okay, create a comprehensive website content. And then let me be specific with enough text, because ChatGPT can be funny at times, and I'll just give you some short text with enough text, okay, for an event website. An event website called, so let me be specific so that the information that you provide, call Elite Events based in Lagos, Nigeria. Based in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay. Create comprehensive. Let me just add and complete. Full website content. So, all right. So let's see. So once you do this, it will be able to generate content that you can use to create. So you can see it now. So this is content for the home page. Here is content for the about. So these are the list of services based on the prompt you put, and what they believe for events business. This is the most likely service that they are to offer. So you can see why choose us, then gallery, testimonial, then the blog. So it's even providing with blog ideas. So this is how you can get content. Exactly. Okay. So this is just by the side. So this is how you can get content to work with if you're having problem generating content. So you can go ahead and close this. All right. So now that this is done, let's continue with what we are doing here. Okay, so for this container, I want it to be at the center. So just move this to the center. So now let's go ahead and add all of this that we're having here. Okay, so for this now, the element we are going to be using to achieve this is called icon box. So let me click on this plus here, and I search for icon. Okay, so icon box, I drag it in. So you can see, so here I'm going to be adding the logo and the text. So let's see, personalized planning. So let me copy this personalized planning, and then I come here under the title, personalized planning, and then the next is this that we're having here. Copy this and paste this here. So then for the icon, you can choose an icon that best describe what that thing is talking about. So check, I think this is what I use. Insert this, and then okay, so let's see what it's looking like also. All right, so let me add the background. So for me to add the background, I'm picking it at the container side, not at the element side. Exactly, so you need to pay attention to this. So from here, so I come over to style. So for the background, then I choose a classic. So let me go here and add the color. So I think it's a particular shade of wine. So let me just flip it like this. So now I can go ahead, let me go back and change this for the element. Now let me change the color to white. So you can see, so that it can be very visible. So I come to style, then icon. You can see primary color. Let me change it to white. So for the content also, the title, I want the color to be white. For the description, I also want it to be white. So, and then you can as well change the typography. So if you want to change the typography for the title and the description, you can do that right here. If you want to change the size also, so you want to change the size. So I hope you get the concept. Okay. You can do that right here. So you also notice that there are a lot of spaces around it. So for you to achieve that, click here, come to advanced, and then so you increase the padding. So let me just leave it at 30. Okay, so let me just leave it at 30 like that. So with what I've done here, we are still going to repeat the same thing here and here, but since we've gotten the concept behind it, so let me just go ahead and duplicate it twice. So once I've duplicated it twice, then I'll go and delete these other two containers that we're having. Delete. So it makes the work much more easier. I hope you've done everything. So then you can go ahead and start repeating the same process. You change the icon, you change this title and the description. Exactly. So then the next thing I just need to change the color. So let me just change the color so that it can create that contrast. So I think a shade of gold, something looking like gold. A dark shade of gold. And then this, what did I use here? Okay, a particular shade of green. So background, color, you can just switch it here. So let me just leave it like this anyway. So I hope the aim is for you to understand it. Then don't forget to publish. Exactly. So then you can change the text. All right, so for you to bring it a little, you can see it's just overlapping the other section. So let's go back here. To achieve that, you come here, you click on it. Remember, we are on another container. As you can see, we are on another container. We are done with the first container, but we want it to overlap the first container. So once you click here, you come to advanced, and then you click, you see this margin, you first unlink it. So for the top, you reduce it to a negative value. So if you press it down like I'm doing now, you can see that it's taking it up. Okay. So like I said earlier, let me publish this. You need to be careful and confirm if it is looking good on mobile view. Okay, it's still looking good on mobile view. So we are still having a very good mobile view, so we can continue. Okay, so we are done with that section now. Remember, I said just go ahead and change the text. There's no need to start doing that. I hope you got the concept. So there are still other options that you might need to do in your styling. If you want to change the icon size, you can do that. You can see, you can play around with the icon size. If you want to rotate it, depending on the icon, there are a lot of things you can do there. Okay, so now let's go back to the reference. Now, this is the next section that we are going to be doing. So we are going to be introducing a new section. So let's come back here. So let's click on the plus. So you can see that this is a 2-column section. There's one here and there's an image here. So for you to do that, let's select under flexbox. This is a 2-column this time around. Okay. So for this now, you can see the arrow is pointing downward, so all the elements will align vertically. All right, so the first thing there is we are having is this about Elite event. Okay. So for you to achieve that current easily, just copy this because it's the same font. If you look at it, the same font. So I'll just copy this, copy, and come here and paste it. So the only thing I'll need to do now is to style it. Okay, it's already centered. It's already center aligned. Then I'll just reduce the size. Exactly. So like I showed you earlier, if you want to get the size of this, you can just inspect elements. Okay, it's about 42 pixels. So you can see it here. 42 pixels, and the color is black. So this can come handy. Okay, so 42. Okay, so that's about 42 pixels, and then the color. So the color is black. I think there's, okay, this is it. Black. Let me take out the shadow so you can see. I take out the shadow. So the next thing we are having there, okay, about Elite events. So let me add that about. So I hope you are finding value in it. Please, if you are new, please give the video a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button to subscribe. Okay, so we've gotten this. Now, the next thing I want to add is this body of text. So let me copy it. So for you to add this body of text, what we are going to be needing is a text editor. So you come back to your elements. Remember I said to bring back the element on this panel, you click on this plus. So text editor. So you drag it here. And then the text, I've copied it already, so I can easily paste it. So you can see we already have our text. Don't forget to always publish. After that, we have this button here. So the button, for us to bring in that button, so we can easily copy one of the buttons that we have here. So that will also save us the time of formatting this button. So I can just come here and then paste it. Okay. So this is on the side, but I want it to be here. So I come over to style. Then I put the position to center. For the contents, I'll change it from services to learn more. To learn more. Okay. So don't forget the links, we are yet to add the links, but we are still going to add them as we progress. So once we create other pages. So the image we have here, So you can see I added the image twice, added it to the background of the container and as the image itself, just to create this kind of border that you are seeing. You can see there's a kind of border around the image. So what I did was I click here at the container side and then I look at style for the background. I click on classic and then we add image. So let's see, I think this is the image here. Yeah, so this is the image I used. I select it so you can see it here. Okay, so the image, so you can easily format it also, is currently set to full. For the position, I want it to be center. So just pay attention to the changes that you see. You can see. So that's it. We didn't really see much effect when we are doing it here, but you can see the effect here. So if you also put it to maybe top center, you can see it. You should pick it from the top and at the center. You pick top left to bring it at the top, from the top to the left. So I want it to be center. Then for the attachments, I just leave it as default. The meaning is if you fix it at scroll, to scroll with it. If you fix it, you can see it will just remain fixed even while you are moving up and down the page. So let's leave it on default. For the repeat, I don't want any repeats. So for display size, I want it to cover. So you can see that means the entire image will cover this size. If you select auto, this is what it should look like. If you select contain, you see. So I just want it to cover. So that is there. So what I did again was, in addition to it, I added an image. You can see I added an image and I used the same image again. So that's how I was able to get that effect. Okay. So don't forget to publish and then again confirm if your mobile view is looking good. Okay, so you can see now our mobile view is looking good. The only exception I'm having is this title is looking too big on mobile view. So I can just click here and then I go back to style, typography. So you might be wondering that if I reduce it there, won't it affect the desktop view? No, you can see that the size is only showing mobile portraits. So you can see it only affect the mobile view. So let me leave it as 22. So if I want to reduce, I can try to reduce it, but let me just still leave it. So I hope you get the concepts now. Let's see, maybe 25 might be okay. So publish. So I can go back to the desktop view. So you can see that it's not affected at all. All right, so let's go back to the reference website. So another thing you'll notice is that the background here is different from what we are having here, and there's a space at the top and below it. There's a space here. So let's quickly do that. This is to create a contrast so that you can, so once someone is going through the website, you know that, okay, this section is different from another section. It's the way of creating a contrast in the website. So for us to add that, let's come back here. So you click on the entire container. So you might want to look at it from here also. So we are currently on the third container. You can see once I click here, it will show here. If I come back and click this button now, it will show me on this navigator here that this is the part where I am. Okay. So if I should click this container from the navigator, it's automatically the same thing as clicking it here. So this container always comes in handy. So I always leave it lying around, or you can just have it on the side here. But I just personally, I always have it to just hang around. Okay, so what we want to add is margin. No, padding rather. So let me go back and see what's there. Okay, so what we want to add is padding. So there's a difference between padding and margin. Since I've mentioned the two, let me just talk about it. So if I should add a margin, let me pick the top. Let me unlinking this means if I don't link it, if I should increase this by 1, everything increase. I hope you see what's happening. Everything will increase. But if I should unlink it and I increase this on the left, only the left will increase. If I do this for the top, for the right, only the right will increase. I hope you get that. So that's the meaning of this link. It's the same thing with padding and margin. So let me change everything to 0. So briefly, let me just talk about padding and margin. So if I should increase, let me unlink this now. Okay, let me first add the background so that you'll be able to see the difference. So for me to add the background, I already select the container. Let me click on style. For the background, then I choose, it was color I used. Then I used a very light, okay. So let me just save this and say gray background. Gray background. Okay, so you can see it is to create a contrast between them. So let me publish. So now I can now show you the difference between, so I want to add padding. Now let me work with the top. If I should add a margin of 50 to the top, what did you notice? You see that there's a space between this container and this container, which is this space here. Let me increase it to 80. Okay, so you can see that there's a space here outside of this container. There's space between this container and this container. That's for margin. It has created a margin. Let me use that word, or a space between the two containers. But if I, let me return it. But if I should do same to padding, if I add that 80 to padding at the top of this, you see that the space was created within this particular container. I hope you got that. So you can see that the space was within this particular container. So you need to take note of that. So that's the difference between the padding and the margin. Okay, so for this now, you see that what I used here was padding. So let me do the same thing at the bottom, 80. Okay, so you notice that there's still a small space here, which we need to correct that from this. So I'll come here and then unlink it. So once I unlink the padding for this other column, it's closed it up. So don't forget to publish. Okay, so with that being done, let's progress to the next section. So this is the next section, which is services that we offer. Okay, so now let's scroll down. So for service that we offer, so let's come back here. So let's create. So for this now, so let's create a this container so that we can have our title. So let me copy this and then let me paste it here. Paste. So I can change this to services. So for this now, there's no need to change the font and everything because since we copied this from the other side. So services we offer. For services that we offer. So for me to achieve these boxes, so we bring in an elements grid. So we already have the grid here already. And you can adjust it accordingly. So we have 3 columns and 2 rows. If you want 4 columns, you can change it here and 2 rows, just like that. So let me leave it at 3. So what I have inside all of these grids are, okay, so these elements, let me show you the elements as, so image box. Okay, right. So let me go ahead and add an image and let's fill in these details. So what we are having here is wedding planning. So wedding planning, and then let me copy the description. So let's fill in those details. So for the title, we have wedding planning. And then for the description, I've copied it so I can easily paste it. So for the image, so let's go ahead and look for the image wedding. So this best fits. And we click on select. So full image. So for it to be big, we are going to do that under styling. So you come over to styling, image position, you can select the position, you can see, you can play around with all of these things. If you want it to be center aligned. So image spacing, it has to select the spaces in between. So you can see that here. So then you come over to image, the image width. So I want it to be 100%. That was how I was able to achieve this. Okay. And so let's see. So you notice that there's a black outline. So you see that there's a black outline. So for us to bring in that outline, okay, so let me confirm if it's on the container itself or, so there's a black outline on the element itself. So if you want to change the color of the text and the typography, I believe you should have gotten that by now. So you can do that here. So for me to add that border, I click on this and then you come over to advanced. If you scroll down to border, so you can see it here. So border type, I want it to be solid. So you can see then if what's the width of the border, So if you increase it, maybe 1 or 2, I think 2 is okay. So this is it here. So if you should scroll down also to add some, so let me publish it. Now, if you look at it here now, once I click here, you can see that it's giving some kind of effect. So to add that effect, click on the element itself. That's the image box itself, not on the container. Take note of that. So on the image box itself, you come over to advanced, and then you see the transform option. So you click on transform. Now you scroll down to this. Now you can see there are different effects that you can use here. You can see the offset, the scale, the skew. So but it's on over. You notice that it is when you over it. So you see that it is when you over it that effect happens. So since it's already on over, and this is the effect that I use, the skew. So I just increased it to 1, so you can see it. So the higher you do it, the more it will be more obvious. But I think 1 is okay. And then for the Y, skew Y, so you can see. So this is how I was able to get the effect. Okay. So once you are done, just go ahead and publish it. Now, interestingly, with what we've done here, we've been able to do it for one of the services. So what we'll just do is, I'll just go ahead and duplicate this. So to duplicate it, I'm duplicating this. So I'll just come here, duplicate. So it automatically sends the remaining one down. And duplicate. And duplicate. So all the effects will be the same thing. So the only thing I'll just need to change is for the image, the title, and the description. Exactly. So I don't need to start adding the border, the effect, and everything. So I can just go ahead and just do that. So let me just do it for this. Maybe I just change only the image so I can create that difference. Then I think I did it for this also. So let me just go ahead and add this. So let me put in this image here. So you just go ahead and put in the appropriate. I just want something different. Okay, so you just go in and put in the appropriate. Now for this, now you notice that this is different. This DJ, this ladies dancing, and this is different. So I was able to just, instead of having this element here, so what I used was an image itself. So plus image. So that means I'll be deleting this. Okay, so this is where the image is. So I can go ahead and add. So this is where I made mention of adding a vertical image. I think these are the ladies. Okay, so this is the vertical image that I used. Now, if you notice that the image looks too long or too tall, so you can easily adjust it here. So you can just come to edit image, and then you crop. So I can decide to crop it from the top or below. So I think this should cover up for the SS. So I click on apply crop, save edit, and then select. Right, so now we are having it like the way it should be, just like we are having it here. Exactly. So the only difference that I didn't really do is to, I know I just use the same images, but just to save time. I hope you got the concept. Now I just noticed that I didn't add, you notice that there's a shadow behind all of these boxes. So let me just show you that. So using any of them, if I should just copy this now, to add the shadow, you come to advanced, under border type, box shadow. So just open this, you can see the shadow will appear. So since we didn't add it to all, if I just copy this and I click on paste style, yes, so I just click on paste style, so I don't, it will just paste style. I think this is much more easier than going one after the other to put it in. Okay, so paste style, and that sorts out the shadow issue. So you can see when I reduce the image height, I mean, when I cropped it, and it didn't, take effect immediately. I just published and I refreshed, and the image was well aligned. So there was no excess space like it was. Okay, so that this section now we are done with this particular container. So now we are going to be going to the next one. So the next one we are having is this particular section. Now to add this section is pretty much easy. So you'll notice that this particular section is similar to what we have here. It's just that it's a flip. That means this image is here, this text is on this other side. So that makes the work much more easier. So what we are going to do is this particular section, which is the third one, we are going to go and duplicate it. So let me show you what to do. So if you come over to this structure here, that's the most easier way to do it. Instead of, you can decide to duplicate it here and drag it, but to make it easier, since this is it here, so what I'll just do is duplicate. So you can see I already have it duplicated. So then I'll just drag it here. So if you come down, you're going to see it. So this is it. Okay, so what I'll do is once I select here, I can come to this direction and I reverse. So you can see I've reversed it and we're having something like this. So the next is to just put in the text. So why choose a light vent? So this will now be the new title here. And then for the description, and just come ahead and copy this instead of this long. So then the button, we don't need the button, so I'll just go ahead and delete this. Okay, and then let's see. So for me to add this, I was able to add this using this same title. So what I did was this, I just duplicated this, then I move it below here. So this becomes all. Okay, so let me just reduce the typography, that's the size. So let me reduce it to 35. Okay, so I can then duplicate it again. So this time around it's going to be having the phone number, and copy. Okay, that's for the second. And then, so that means I have the two. Okay, instead of, I can just have it one because it's creating some space there. So let me delete this. So for this now, and then for the second phone number, I could just press. Now, you can see that they're on the same line, but right here, they're on separate line, but here they are showing on the same line. So for you to create that second line effect, just press this less than, then BR, and greater than. So you can see to send it down. Okay, so let's see again, what do we have? You can see that this right here, it's center aligned, it's center, and it's at the middle of this particular column with a background image. So let's quickly do that. So to put this, so you can do that from here. So you come to style or layout. So you can see the contents, you want it at the center, and then the alignment, we also want it. Okay, this is not the center alignment that will work for it. So you just do it from the text side and then place it at the center. I think this is also at the center already. Okay, so don't forget to publish. So then we change the image here. So this shouldn't be a problem. So we can just have the image change. And this also. Okay, so let me publish this. Okay, so the next thing now is to create, is to add that background. So for us to add the background image, so the same way we had this background color. So once I click here, come over to style. So instead of color now, we are using an image. So I click on it, and then let's see. So we're already having an image. Let's see if there's an overlay. So, but the main thing is that you should make sure that if you add an image, the image will be visible. Exactly. So that's very important. So we already have an image here. So let me make it center. Let me put it as cover. Okay. So I want the image, let me change the image to something that is more bright. So I think this should be fine. Okay, so to make it more visible, let me add a background overlay. So let me just add this color and the opacity. Okay. So let's see. All right. So I hope you got the concept now. So this is how we're able to do that. So don't forget to always publish. Like I said, publish, confirm your mobile view, and see that it is looking good on the mobile view. Okay, so if you're okay with that, so this is what we are currently having. Let's see what was the next thing here. And that's it. So let me come back to, I noticed something. So you see that for the services also, we need to add some padding at the top and at the bottom. So let me also use padding at the top. We should have it with, so it should be the same, almost similar here. And at the bottom also, so you can see, so if I should, so you can see, but if I should add it, I should add the 80. So that makes a lot of sense, like that. So with what we have so far, we've been able to create the home page. So what we have here is the footer, which is a separate, we're going to do that separately. So with this now, we've been able to create our home page successfully. So you can see it. We've been able to create our home page. So now that we are done with the home page, let's take a look. So let's go ahead and create the About Us page. So this is our About Us page. So this won't take us much time. You can see most of the things that you'll be seeing on another page, you already have something similar at the home page. So it's just a matter of copy and paste. Okay, so let's quickly go back to this tab. So let's go back to the WordPress dashboard. So to go back to our WordPress dashboard, so you can just click here, exit to WordPress. Let me open this in a new tab. And from here, I can just click this. So you can see it's taking us back to our pages. So now what we want to do is we want to create another page, which is the About Us page. So let's do add new page. So let's call this About Us. So don't forget the settings. For the template, you come here and change the templates. Elementor full width. So then you publish. That's the only changes we need to do there. So once that is published, we head over to edit with Elementor. So this is what the About Us page currently looks like. So let's recreate this. So for that now, we are going to be using a Flexbox direction column. So what we need now is, let's take a look. So we have this Elite event and this About Us and a background. So what we are going to do is we come back here now. Let's go to the home page. Like I said, so what we'll do is for us to get that, so what we'll do is the same font with this welcome to. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this, come over to About Us, paste this, and then also copy this Elite event. It's the same thing I used. I come here and then I paste it. So this becomes About Us. So the only thing I'll need to reduce is the size. So I come over to Style, Typography. So let me just leave it as 50. I hope that's the same thing. So I publish that. So, and then this, I just change the name to Elite Events or Elite or Elite Events. Okay, is it event with S or without S? Well, it doesn't matter, with S. So now is to add the background. So you can see that this is having a very, the height is just very small. To increase the height, I'll just come over here to increase it. So let's say I want it to be at 350 pixels. Okay. And at the same time, I want the highlights event and the about us to be at the center. So just so justify center. So now we can go ahead and add the background. So to add the background, I've clicked on this container, edit container. I come over to style. Background is on normal. I click on classic. I select the image that I want. And then let's see, what image do we have here? Okay. Is it this? No, it could be any image anyway. So this is the image. Let's see the effect that we have. Okay, you can see the image is fixed. It's fixed, it's not moving. So for us to achieve that effect, so unlike, you can see the image is moving as I scroll up and scroll down. So to achieve that fixed effect, so let's leave this attachment. So this is the attachment, we want it fixed. So you can see. So the image will be fixed while we scroll up or down the page. Okay. So for the positioning of the image, let's put it at center. So, and then let me see if there's an overlay. So there's an overlay, you can see it here, so that the text can be visible. So to achieve that, you come to background overlay, background type. I want it to be a dark color. So let me just select this secondary. Or was it a bright color? Okay. I think a dark color will be fine. And then you select the opacity. So I think this is okay. So I publish. Okay. So now let's see the other sections that we are having here. So this is the about us page. So we are having this, and we are having these two sections. You'll see that these two sections are present at the home page. So we'll just copy it and bring it in. Now, you also need to take note that you can change the designs around. The aim of this video is not only to create this website with you, but to also give you an idea so that you can use your creative mind to create even something maybe better than what you are seeing. Exactly. And that's why I'm touching some of the elements that we didn't even use. All right, so let me come back to the home page. So I'll just come here and copy this. Come here and then I'll paste it. Voila. So I'll go here, come here to the home page again, and then I'll copy this section. This section is present at the About Us page, so I'll copy it. So there's another way of doing this, just in case you might be wondering why am I doing it like this, instead of copy and paste. So then this button will not need it. Delete. So, but you'll notice that for this About Us page, the About content is different. Do you understand? But you get the concept. So if you get your About content, you just come over here and then you edit it appropriately. So instead of copying the way I did it, you can also decide that, okay, since I'll be using this again, you just click here and then you save as a template. So once you save it as a template, wherever you want to put it, you can just see that you will see an option to import. Okay, so once you see this plus, you can see add templates. So you can also do it like that. All right, so with this now we are done with our About Us page. Our About Us page is complete. Exactly, so you can see that's complete. So let's go to let's see, the next one is the services page. Where are you? So this is the services page. It's also a copy and paste page. So now let's go back to, so I can go ahead and close this. I can go ahead and close the About Us page. We don't have business here again. So let me just go exit to WordPress. Again, if you are finding value, please give this video a thumbs up. So on that page, now instead of creating add new page, what I'll just do is, you see this About Us page, I'll just click on EA duplicator. That's another advantage of the plugin we installed at the beginning. So also I'll just duplicate the About Us page. It makes it much more easier. So it's already duplicated. So what I'll do is I'll just click on edit. So let me open it in a new tab so that I can just, so instead of About Us page, the next one we are creating is services. So you can see the link has updated itself automatically as we change the title here. Services is already on Elementor full width, so we don't need to start doing that again. So just publish. And then click edit with Elementor. Okay, so we don't need to start creating this section again. We just need to do is to change this about us to services. So once you click on it, you change it to services. Now we don't need this section, but we are going to be needing this section. I hope it's clear. So I can go ahead and delete this section. So so for this is the service page. So this for the service. So I go to the home page and then I copy this. You can see services. So I'll just go ahead and copy this. And I'll come to my services page. So to paste it, I'll just click on this plus and then I paste. So you can see we already have it here. So then let me just take out this. Okay, I can still services. So let me just take out the services we offer. The text itself. So I can just delete this. So services. Then you can start to add some text, just before showing the services, like, okay, here are a list of services that we offer and not limited to. So the choice is yours. There are a lot of things that you can do. What you can do with this is unlimited. So once this is done, also publish, you can see our services page is ready. The contact us page. Okay, so the contact us page is looking like this. So this is the only thing that looks different here. So let's come back here. So let's go to pages. Yes, let's still use this about us. Let's click on EA duplicator. So you can see this is the services page here. So the same process. So I can close this services page. So I'll change this to contacts. Contact us. Publish. Edit with Elementor. So I'll change it to contacts. Okay. So I can take this out. Click on the plus to add. So this will be 4, but we actually need 3. So I can go ahead and delete this. So from here, I center align it. So let's say the elements is making it up. So this is icon box. So let's drag in and the icon box elements. So let me just search for it. So icon box. So the first thing is address. So look for a logo. That's I think the name of that thing is location. Okay, yeah. So this is it here. And then I change the title to address. So it's under the description. I'm going to put the address there. So you're going to put in your address, Lagos, Nigeria. So you can see that it's on the same line. If you need to bring it below it, don't forget less than BR and then greater than. That will send it to the next line. So you can see it here. Okay, so there's a border here and a background. So to add that, let's do that. So on this, but you also notice that there is a space above and below the text. So for you to add that, that's padding. So you come to advanced. We are on the element itself, not on the grid or the container. So come over here, advance on the padding at the top. Let's say 30. Okay, then below bottom 30. So that will give you that effect. And then so you can also play around with the color if you want to change the color of the icon. So you come to style, the icon, you can see the color here. So you can see, so the same thing with the content. If you want to change the colors around, so you can do that here. I want to believe by now you should be able to do that. So for this now, I want to add the border. So you come to advanced, then you look for border here. So for the border type, it's going to be solid. Then the width, I just want it to be 1 pixel. And then if you want to add border radius, that's those curves. You can see those curves there. And then the shadow, once you check this, so you can select the colors of your shadow too. If you want it to be in another color, you can do that here. So you can select the color here. So with that, I can just publish. So this is it here. So with this that I've done to save myself the stress of repeating and repeating, I'll just go ahead and duplicate this. Duplicate. and duplicate, so I can delete this other two. Delete and delete. So you repeat the same thing, phone and email. So what you just do here is to come over here and do the same thing, change the icon, the text, and the description. Exactly. So now let me add padding also at the top and at the bottom of the container itself. So I'll check this at the top. Let's say I want to put 50, is 50 okay? And then at the bottom also, at the bottom, let me make it 80 so that it can look similar to what we have here. Or I can also make the top 80. All right, so you can use your discretion to do that. So this is it now. We already have our contact us page similar to what we have in our reference website. Okay, so the last page we are going to be creating before we start to round up this video is the gallery page. Okay, so I can go ahead and close this. Let me go back to pages. Let me just refresh this. So we need the gallery page. I can still use any of this. So let me just click on EA duplicator. So this is it here. Open in a new tab. So I want to show you something in that gallery page so that how you can achieve this kind of effect. You know, if you look at what we're having here, if you have different images, how can you categorize them? For example, wedding, so I can have only wedding images. For birthday, maybe only wedding, birthday, corporate, only corporate. And if you want to show everything, how you can achieve all of these effects. So do make sure you follow along. So this would be gallery. And then there's nothing else to change here. Okay, the templates should be Elementor WordPress. Publish. Now let's edit this. Gallery. So in case I've not mentioned, you see this, all this breadcrumb and this title, we are still going to get rid of them and we're going to add our menu. So don't worry about those things. So now let me take this out. So this will still be there. So let me add in okay, flexbox. So the elements we are going to be adding into this flexbox is, let me type in gallery. Okay, so is this filterable gallery, not basic, not modern, but this filterable gallery. Okay, all right, so you can see it here. All right, so now let's customize this item to show 6 number of columns. You can see these are things that you can just, these settings are available for you under the settings. The layouts, you can over transition, so you can see it's all of this clickable title. If you want this image, this title to be clickable, you can also the light box, whereby if you click on any image like this, now the image, this is what the meaning of lightbox. So if you don't want this effect, you can also disable it. So everything is just customizable, but let me show you how to add those images because it can be very confusing, but it's very easy. So filterable control. So this is where you're going to add all the category, like you're having gallery items. So let me change this to wedding. I want to create another one, add new. Let me change this to birthday. This is how I was able to do it. Then the last one, I think, is corporate events. Corporate events. Okay, so these are the 3 categories. Now, how do we add items to it? So gallery items, you come over to gallery items. Okay, so these are all the 6 that we have here by default. These are all the 6 that are showing up. So you click on each and every one of them. So the control name is what we are having at the top. So if you want to add something, if you want this one should be for wedding, you just come here and type in wedding again. So then the gallery item name. So this is what is showing here. So whatever it is that you want to use it to show, maybe since it's a wedding, maybe it's a wedding that was done with an hashtag, just the way you used to do it, Joy 2025. You know, you get the concept. So if you want to enable rating, use the option there. I mean, enable price, enable rating, enable category. The options are there. If you want to add something about it, you can see it. This is where you're going to put that in. So once you scroll down, then you can add the image here. So let's say this is the image that you want to use. So also, if you want the image here to have a link, you can see if you want this link to maybe to link to a blog post, maybe you created a blog post about the event itself, you can add the link here. And if you don't want a link, you can uncheck this. Then the light box, which is this, if you don't want it, you uncheck this. But if you want it, like I said yesterday, once you click on it, it shows the bigger picture of it. Okay, and if you want the link, you can just leave it there like that. So this is how you'll be able to do that. Now, if you click on wedding now, okay, you can't really see it from the front end. So in case you're having issues scrolling on this, you might need to just shift away from this text area. If your cursor is on this text area, you can see it will not go up or go down. You have to shift away from it. So the way you've done it here, you're going to repeat the same thing for the rest. So the main difference there is this control name. Exactly. So if this is for birthday, then you go ahead and do the same thing. Every other process, let me just add some random pictures here. So for birthday, let me just put this DJ guy. So let me go for the next one. Let me just put in this image. So just title it accordingly, the gallery item name. But the thing I want to just take note of is this control name. So this one, I want to put it under corporate events. So you need to be careful with the spellings too. But I think the thing is not case sensitive. So corporate events. Okay. So just do this for the remaining two. Okay. So once you are done, you publish. So since I'm not doing for these three, just to save time, let me just change the item to show. Let me change it to 3. So you can see. So then let me go ahead and add my padding without forgetting on leak. The top, let me say 80. Okay, 80 is kind of like too much, 50. And then for the bottom, 80. So publish. Okay, so with that now, we've been able to create our gallery page. You can see it now. So if I should check this out on, so let me copy this and then open it in an, okay, let me preview it. I can just preview it. So you can see it. If I should click on wedding, you can see the pictures is showing. If I click on birthday, if I click on corporate event, you can see. So as many pictures that you add, it will show up. It will show up here. Exactly. So it's as simple as that. All right. So with this so far now, we've been able to create all the pages: home, about, services, gallery, and contact us page. So the next thing I want us to do is go and customize, go to the customize option and complete every other thing there. So that's where we are going to be doing our footer, our header, all of these other effects to be able to add our logo. You can see once I scroll down, the header is changing from white to gold. Exactly. So let's head over to the customize section. So if you come over here, you come to appearance, and then you see customize. But before we go to customize, let's do the menu. So let's come to menu, appearance, and menu. So click on menu. So with that, we can close this other pages. Okay, we are still going to need the home page. Let me bring that back. Remember that in the home page, we've not added the link to some of those buttons. To some of these buttons, we've not added the link. So let's bring in the menu. Let's ascend to the menu first. So for the menu now, we need to create your first menu below. So let's create a menu. We can have a header menu, a footer menu, and as many menu as possible. Exactly. So let me call this the main menu. And you can have one menu that will serve for the header and for the footer. So let me just call this main menu. Okay. So where do you want it to show? Is it at the header primary? Okay, I want it to show at the header primary and the footer. I want it to serve those two purposes. So create menu. Okay, so add menu item from the column on the left. So you can see add menu item from the column on the left. So from this, you can see that these are the pages that we've created. If you view all, you see these are the pages that we've created or that we have. So we have this is the home. There are 2 home here, but this is not the one we are using. 2, 3, 4, 5. So once you select it, click add to menu. Add to menu. Also, if you create some menu that if you want to create a menu using custom link, you can do that. If you want to use a post, you can see as a menu, you can do that here also. If you want to use a particular category, maybe you created a category on a blog as a menu, you can do that here. All right, so the next thing for us now is to arrange it. For you to arrange it, you can just come over it and drag it. You can see home. Let's see how I arrange this. Home, about services, home, about services, gallery, and contact us. So once you are done with the arrangements, just save. Exactly. So then if you want to create a sub menu, so sub menu is let's see if I can show you one example of what, okay, maybe you can just, maybe you want under the gallery section, you have another menu, so you can just bring it on the side. You can see it's going to be a sub item. So that means under gallery, you have to first of all click on gallery or over gallery before you can see the contact option. So that's the meaning of a sub menu. But since we don't want that, so that is saved already. So this main menu will be serving the same purpose for our header and our footer. But if you want a separate menu, and the reason why you might have that is that maybe you don't want your gallery section, for example, to show in your footer menu. So for that, you are going to create a new menu. So you see it, create a new menu, and then you can name it, okay, footer. Exactly. So there are websites like that where you see the options available at the menu is different from the one available at the footer. That's because they created separate menu for them. I hope that makes sense. So now we are done with the menu. We can go ahead and come back to this left panel side, or to this left side, and then we click on customize. So this will always pop up, but we've saved our work so we can leave. So I hope you are still finding value. Please, if you are yet to subscribe, please click on that subscribe button right now, subscribe to the channel, and give the video a thumbs up. I hope you are learning a lot. Okay. So by default, our website is supposed to be showing here so that we can be seeing some of the changes that we are implementing right away. But let's first do the home page settings. That means we've not set the home page we created earlier. We've not set it as our home page. You know, by default, and if you go to kiazegpt.com, it's supposed to bring you to this home page. Exactly. But since we've not set this to be our home page, that is why we are having this blank screen. So to do that, once you're on customize option, you can see this here, home page setting. So you can see your home page display, your static, a static page here. So select a static page, and then to show the list of pages, so you come here, then you select home. Okay, let's see. Boom. So you can see it already have our home page selected. Then you click on publish. Now, as maybe you created a blog now, you can say your latest, you can select maybe your latest post. Exactly, but this is not a blog. So once this is done now, we can start from the top. Let's start with top now. So if you click on general, so let's take a look at all of the options one after the other. So general, this is a website layout. So we don't have any problem with what is here. So the way we have it here is okay. So I can go back. So general typography, this is where you can select the general typography for your website. So we don't have, then if you want to add a custom code, you can add custom code here. But so far, we don't need to copy API key and SEO. These are other built-in SEO. If you want to put in your Google Analytics code, you can do that within this section here. So we don't have much to do. Now let's go over to appearance, global colors. So this is where you can change some colors across the website. Now, if you look at it, some of the colors that we added while creating the website, you can see they pop up here. So you can see it here. So this is where, for example, now if I don't want, you can see all these places I use yellow. This same yellow. If I don't want it to be yellow anymore, I can change it here. It is much more easier. You can get, so that's the essence of saving those colors. So that if there's anything wrong, instead of going one after the other to start changing yellow here, you change yellow here, you go to other pages, you change the colors, you can just do it here from the global colors. So that's the essence of what we are having here. So let's go back. Our website background, we didn't take any background. If you want to add a particular background to your website, this is where you do that. Then content background to, then website frame, enable site frame, this is left to you. Skin option, so you can choose from the default skin for hosted video player. So You might not need all of these options anyway, but whatever options you pick, make sure you are sure of what address bar color. Now, this address bar color it's very common on mobile device, where if you try to type in the address or the address, you see that the address bar color will change. So this is where you can change that color. It's very common on mobile device. Okay, it's even written there, so mobile browser address bar color. Okay, so forms. So we didn't use form in this website because just a way of reducing some unwanted emails. Okay, then sidebar, we didn't use sidebar too, so we don't really have business with this. Okay, so like I said, always remember to also publish this. You might not need all the options, but I'm just taking time to mention them. Now for the header, so header templates. Now this is where we're going to add our header. So for this theme now, there are different headers that you can choose from, either different templates for header that you can choose from. So whichever one you want to choose, you can see you want to just click on it. It's already downloading or adding it to our library. So I think we have about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 9 different header templates that you can choose from. All right, so here is one header here. And if you don't like this, there are still others here you can choose from. Maybe I want this, for example, like select it. It's currently importing this. So you can see here, this is another header type. But so for this purpose of this video, I'll just be sticking with this, but you can try every other one here. If you're anyone you're okay with, fine, then you can go ahead and choose it. So you can see for this particular header, so to edit it, I'll just click on edit with header builder. So that will take you to a new tab. All right, so now it's open. I later selected a different, like this one below. This one did not later it was taking time for it to load. So if you experience that, also just choose another template to work with. Okay, so you can see that we already have menu items already. So this is pretty much simple. So if you want to edit it, just click here. There's nothing much to edit though. So the menu, you can see the main menu we created is already there. How do you want the menu to appear? Definitely horizontal. We don't want vertical because this is at the top side, at the top of the website. So we don't want the vertical, but I just want to show you what will happen when you choose vertical. So you can see it will look like this, but we are okay with horizontal. So display side menu splitter, display submenu indicator. So let's see what this display menu splitter. Okay, so it will separate. Okay, just take a look at what it will look like. So you can see it's creating some dots in between each of those menu items. So then you can also come here and style it. So you can style the menu items, the alignment. What alignment do you want? So let me leave that left align. So the color, let's okay with it as. So let's see what we have here itself. Okay, so I think that's even the same thing. It's what we choose. So it is black. It's okay there. The text shadow, we don't want. So for the typography, okay, I want the font to, okay, to be 18. I think that's okay. Then the font width, if I want to increase it to, okay, to make it a little bit bold. Then text shadow, background type, I don't want any background. So you can see all these things are just customizable. The color, that's it. Now, if you want to also do the over, such that if you over each of those things, the color changes. I want it to change to, let's see what's here, to red. Okay, so let's go back and do the same thing to red. So if I over them, you can see it's changing to red color. So that's what that means there. So if you also come down to menu selected, so what this means is that if you're on a particular page, how do you know that, if you wanted to have a separate color so that you can know that, okay, this is the page I am. So that's what this menu item selected. So I want it to be the same thing with the over color, which is red. So you can see like you're having red, and that's to tell us that, okay, we are currently on the gallery page. That's the meaning. So I've selected to be red. I don't have, I'm okay with other things there. So you can just go through other things here. Sub menu, how do you want your sub menu to appear? That's what this is talking about. And there are some other effects that if you want other effects there, you can select it. But I didn't have any sub menu here, so I can't really show you, but you can also try it out. I've showed you how to create a sub menu. Okay, so I think that's pretty much what I'll be doing here. So once I'm done, I go ahead and publish. So with that, I can just close this and come back here. So let's exit out of the header templates and come to header settings. But before we go to header settings, let me refresh this page so that the changes that we've done on this header can take effect. Okay, so you can see it now. That means on the home page, you can see this is bigger now. If I over it over it is changing to red, and that's what we selected. So coming back to the header, I come to header template settings. So you can see enable sticky header. Okay, that is, you can see, okay, that is enabled already. So you can see as I scroll down, the header still remain the same. So then sticky header background. So this is what it means. So if I should scroll down, you can see the color changes. So that's where you can change it. Okay, so let me change it to, I think it was gold color that we used. Okay, so I hope you get it now. So that's the meaning of that. So let's just leave it at this yellow. I know it's a little different from what we have here, but let's just leave it like that for tutorial purpose. I hope you got it. So specific sticker header height. So the height of from here to here, the height, this is where you can adjust it if you want it to be less than that. But sometimes the, okay, I think it has reduced. But sometimes your logo might just make it a little bigger. So you just need to take note of that. So, okay. So don't forget to publish. So let's come back. So for blog, we don't have blog, so there's nothing to do here, but this is where you can change everything about that has to do with your blog. We don't have blog on this website, so we don't really have business here. Then for page, so page layout. So we are okay with this page layout, display content top margin. Okay, let's see if we disable this, what happens. So content layouts. So this is the current layout, which is okay by me. Okay, so I didn't really see much changes, so let me just return this back. So that's what I was saying earlier. If you make any changes here, you need to be sure of what you are disabling and enabling so that you don't just get lost, okay, or get confused when you see some effect you're not sure of. All right, so this place is page title. So this page title, display title bar section. I think this is for here. So if I should disable this now, so you can see that gets rid of that place. And as that's getting rid of it, it will get rid of it across the entire pages. Exactly. Okay. So let me publish this. So we are gradually finishing up on the setup. So now let's do the footer. So just the same way we did our header. So now let's work on our footer. If you scroll down, you will see that we currently, this is what we have as our footer. So let's make it better. So now we also have templates. So this website also have templates for the footer. So you can see, you can choose from any of these available templates. So let me just pick this last one. So let's see what we have here for this website. So this is what we have here. Let's create this together. So I've selected the footer, so you can see it here, but let's edit it. So let's make it look like this. All right, so this is it already. We are currently having 3 sections, but we are going to change it to, let's see, to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So let's do this together. Let's take it from that to this. Let's change this to this. All right, so this is the first section. Let me duplicate this first. So this menu is currently on the second side. So let me change this from horizontal to vertical. Let's start with that. And then this also has a title. So let me click here and add a title. Okay, heading. So let me name it quick link. So quick links. So you can go ahead and style this also. So for the typography, so let me leave it as 20. Okay, as 25. Then the font family, let me make it just the same one we've been using since. So you can just, do them accordingly to how it suits you, but make sure it looks nice. For the color, let me make it a little darker. So let me make it black. So also for the menu, for this menu here, let me create some of those effects. Let's see. All right, so the color is black. Once you hover over it, I want it to show red. So you can see here, just the same way we did for the header menu. So we'll do the same thing. So you can see it here. Okay, so there's something I just noticed now. Is this about us? So you can go ahead and change it to about instead of contact us, or just leave it as contact. About us, leave it as about. So I hope you'll remember to change that. But if I don't, okay. So there's another thing I added here, which is this red line. So to add it is a divider. So you come to this plus and add elements. You search for divider. So we are going to be using this divider. So you just bring it here. Okay, solid. So the width, whatever that suits you, maybe as 30. Then you select the position. Okay. I don't want any elements. I don't want to add any elements to that line. So for the style, for the weight, let me make it a little thicker. Maybe 2 will be fine. Okay, for the gap, so you can increase or decrease the gap. Then for the color, I made it red. So let's leave it as red. You can see that's what we have there. So don't forget to publish. So this is ready. The next one is the contact. So what I'll just do is, because of all of these effects, I can go ahead and delete this. So let me just duplicate this twice. Okay, so this will serve for the contact. So after the contacts, we have all of this information, and this, to add this, what I used was, so I can go ahead and take this off. So it was text editor. So I bring in a text editor here. Okay, so this is where you add the address, all these informations. Okay. So if after typing all this thing is not going to the next line, don't forget I said you just put in greater than BR, like this short code, exactly, just in case you are typing yours and it's not going to the next line. But I think this is text editor, it will go to the next line. And if you want to create this link already, so once you highlight it, you insert this link there, and then you put in this. If you want to add a phone number that once you click on it on your website, it will take you to the dial on your mobile phone, just add TEL and hyphen. For email, you just put in mail to hyphen and then the email address. Now you see that this is creating a different color. For you to change this color, you have to go back to under customize, where we did the global color settings. I hope you remember, under appearance, then global colors. So you see it there. That's, you can see primary color. That's why we are having this color. So that's where you can also change that. So now let's continue. This is done. So let's work on this. We are social. So if I should come here, I'll just change this to we are social. Then this will go out. So I can go ahead and delete this also. So what I'll search for now is social. If I should type social, I should be able to get social icons. Let's see here. Okay, so you can see social icons. So I drag this here. So you need to be sure of where you are dropping it. Okay. So this also, you can edit it the way you like. I want it to be left aligned. Then I want the columns. Okay. Let me leave that out. I want it, instead of round, I want circle. And then you can style it also, the size. If you want to change the size, you can do that here. Padding, space, I want to increase the space from 5. So don't forget to always cross-check. Like I said, all of your settings, make sure that it is mobile friendly as you are doing that. And again, if you want to change the background color of this entire footer section, do you understand? I didn't change it here. If you want to change, maybe the color you are using is this white background or this gray background doesn't suit it well. You can do that from here. You come over to style. And if you want to add an image to the background here, you can just add an image or the color. So you get. All right. So let's continue with this part here. We are social, then we have this copyright at the footer here. So let me just copy that. So that then for this social, once you are okay with this, under the contents, this is the Facebook. So for Facebook, you go ahead and add the link to your Facebook page. Then for Twitter also, this is an old logo of Twitter. So if you want to change it, you just click here and then you search for Twitter. So you see the new logo here. And then you go here, you add the link to your Twitter profile. Same thing for YouTube. And then if you want to add more, you can say add more items. And if you want to take out any of them, maybe you don't want YouTube, you can just delete it and you're left with 2. So the next thing I want to add is, okay. So I can use text elements or text editor to add that. Or maybe let's see if we can get a copyright. All right, so we can get this copyright to add that copyright we saw earlier. Okay, you can see 2025, the name of the website, all rights reserved. So let me put 2025 to, so that as the year goes by, it will just change automatically. Okay. All rights reserved. A light event. So don't worry, it's showing a light. Then the next one is designed with love by. So the essence of this, like I said earlier, is a way of, letting people that come on the website know that, okay, you're the one that designed it. So you can put maybe designed with love by this, or you can say, okay, designed and managed by websites by, and you might have come across some of these things. So to do that, let's go back. So don't worry, this site name, we are still going to update it. So it's going to change from this GBT. So don't worry, but let me duplicate this so that we can add the other. So if I should duplicate this now, I can come here and change it. That's designed with love by, okay. So that's love, red love, that in case you have interest in it. So love emoji, I'll just search for it. There's a shortcode for it, but I don't use shortcode to get it. I'll just copy this and then I come over and paste it. Designed with love. Shout out to Nia Sheikh. I think it was one that I got this for and I so much love it. So designed with love by then. So for you to add the shortcode also to create that hyperlink, if you cannot remember it, or if you have problem, or if you are not okay with putting in knowing the code offhand, you can just come over and Google and search hyperlink generator. So this is it here. So what do you want it to show? Maybe the name of your agency or the name of your business. So PA Digitech. And I want you to redirect them to maybe my website. .com. Okay, so you can see it here. So what you just do, you just copy this code and come back and paste it. And just paste it here. And that sorts that out. So if you're not okay with this color also, and then you want to change the color, then you might just look for, there's this other one that has color. Hyperlink generator with color. Code beautify. So with this now, you can do it with color and then to show you the code that you can just copy. So it all depends on you. So don't forget to publish. Oh, we've not done this part here, which is a logo and just a short text. So let me copy this text. Remember, we've not added logo to the website, but don't worry. So for us to do this now, so let me just go ahead and add. Okay, let me add logo. So we've not added logo, that's why it's just showing this, but once we change the logo, it will appear. I just want it to be small and then to link to the home page. So let me take this out. And then text editor, so that I can add that short text I copied. Okay, so welcome to Elite Event, your ultimate partner in crafting memorable and seamless occasion. So let me add the padding to the right because it's almost touching this. So to the right, let me just add like maybe, or is it too much? Okay, I think 10 should be fine. And then I publish. So with this now, our footer is ready. So we are done with our footer. Let's come back to customize. So we've left customize. So we are at the footer area. So let's see on the settings, enable sticky footer. We might not need that. We might not need that really. Show theme attribution. So we don't have anything yet to do. So let's come back. So we can go ahead and refresh this page so that the changes that we've made on the footer can, we can get to see them to reflect. All right, so as you can see, we already have our 4 columns and all the changes we implemented are already live on the website. Okay, so we stop at the footer. Let's look at extra. So under extra, we have this back to top button. So this is currently enabled and this is the button here, this back to top button. Okay, so once you are maybe halfway down the page, it's just going to appear. So if you want it at the right, the middle, or at the left, so you can do that here. So let's come back. So performance, enable image, preload preview. I don't want this. So let's leave that. The login page here, you can decide how you want your login page to look like. And then if you want any message, if you want to have login page logo, you can put that here. So it's a matter of preference. So let's just put it, since I'm here already. Okay. And then if you want to add any other code there. Okay, so 404 page, maintenance coming soon, search result, import and export. Okay, so now let's go to site identity now. So this is where you're going to be adding your logo. So let's go ahead and put in our logo. So let's select logo. So I've already created the logo already. So I have the transparent background, and then let me see. And then, okay, the black and white. So let me use this. So this logo might be too big, but okay, we can actually crop it first. Crop image. So for you to create your logo, I hope it won't be too big. Okay. Oh, I've not removed the background from this particular one. So for you to create your logo, you can head over to this site. So this is where you'll be able to create your logo real quick. It's pretty much very easy. So you can see it here. This is the logo here. So and what did I do? It's just very simple. I can just, since it's an event website, so events, planning, logo, or you can just look for any keyword related to the kind of logo that you want. So it's brought a lot of templates. Let me see if I can see something similar to what I edited. So there are different options here that you can work with ahead. You can see this was what I used to create that Elite event. Okay, so there are other options here. Some are free and some have some pro elements that you might need to pay for. But if you take out those pro elements, you'll be able to use the free version. Exactly. So you can find even good logo using the free version. So that's how you go about creating your logo. And once you create your logo and you want to remove the background, you can also use remove.bg. So once you create the logo, you bring it over here, you upload it here, and it will remove the background for you. That's if you have other websites, or if you know how to use Photoshop and CorelDRAW to do that, then that's very good. So let's come back here. So I didn't remember to remove the logo before uploading it, but I've shown you how to do it anyway. And this logo is looking very big. So let's quickly do some correction to that. Okay. So you can see suggested image dimension 150 by 150 pixel. So let me quickly correct that. So I've selected it and there's an option to edit image here. So let me scale. So if I change it to 150 by 150, Okay. At the same time, let me crop. So apply crop, save edits, and then updates. Okay. So that has been updated. So let me just publish. So let me just refresh this so that so this is it now. Select. All right, so we have a better, smaller logo. It's just that the resolution has reduced the quality of the logo, but I hope you understand. Then for this is the logo 2. For the logo 2, now you can create a contrast of this. You can see, so as if I had removed the background, it will look better. So you can create a second logo. The second logo is what will appear as this second header. Exactly. So this is the site title. So this is where we're going to update it from. Let's change it to Elite Events. And then here we can change it to, let's say, top event planner. In Lagos. So just make sure whatever you're putting it is something that describes your services and also SEO optimized. So then the site icon, that's the favicon. If you look at all the work we've been doing since, you see that we are just having this globe logo here. And if you look at for Gmail, for example, you are seeing this logo here. For this remove BG, you are seeing this. For this hyperlink, you are seeing this. So how do you create this favicon or site icon? So this is where you do it. You select. Okay. So I'm okay with this. All right. So with that now, let's just publish. Okay, so that has been done already. So site identity. So once we are done with site identity, for menu, we don't have any business with menu. We've already done menu from the menu part itself on the WordPress dashboard. Widgets, we don't have any widgets. We didn't use any widget because we didn't really create a blog kind of website. So we've been here before, the homepage settings. So we've done all our correct homework here. So now let's go back. And with that, we are almost through. We're as good as through with our website. Exactly. So now let's take a look at what the website is looking like on the front end. However, before we round up, there are certain plugins that I usually recommend to have on our website, even though now you can come over here. So you can see now on this page, now you can see it here. It's looking good. You can see it has updated to a light event. So if I decide to view the website now, okay, so lest we forget, we've not updated these links. So you can see this is what our website currently looks like. You can see this is the website we've been able to create. You can see just looking good and professional. So you can see it here, the footer and everything. You can see this link here is already there. Don't forget, just make sure your logo doesn't have background. Let it blend with the header. So we've not added all these links. So now that we already have that, we can easily come back here. So let me just refresh this now. So I can go ahead and close this. Okay. You can also close. Okay, cancel. Okay, yeah, I said we wanted to correct something on this menu. This about us is good that we come back here. So the label, just remove this US. That should correct it automatically, sir. So then contacts, I want to remove that contacts. Us, I want to remove the us. So then save menu. All right. So this is saved already. I can close this. I can also close this. So let's close this. So just so that we don't get confused with too many tabs. Okay. So now let's check out the pages of the website we've just created. So guys, I hope you find value in all of these things. If you have any question, there are still some plugins that we need to include. Okay, so now let's quickly add the services. So for these services now, for this services button, so for the link, we can just do this from here, dynamic tags, page URL, select services. Okay, so that's another way to do that. Then for this book now, you can also go through the same process, or you copy the link, copy link address, and then you paste it here. So those are the two ways to add then this learn more is going to about us. So you can just copy the about us, the link to the about us page, come over here, and then you paste it. So let's see what other links. I think those are the only links there. Then you publish. So with that, now we are done with the home page. We are done with the home page. So this is the contact us page. This is our gallery, and this is our services page, and this is our about us page. So before I round up on this video, I was mentioning that there are some certain plugins that I personally add to all the websites, even though I didn't include it here. Number one is there's a separate video for those plugins, because if I decide to add it here, it may make the video longer than necessary, which I don't want. So if you want to know that, if you want to know how to set that up, so number one is the Yoast SEO plugin. So that's for SEO purpose. This is even my number one. It comes highly highly recommended. So then the second is all-in-one WP migration. Basically, what I usually use this is to import and export my websites. And I always, like I do mention, once I create a website, even though there's already a backup from the hosting, I always make sure I have a backup of a copy of my website. Then another one is Google Site Kit. So it makes it easy with Google Site Kits. It makes it easy to link your website to Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and if you want to have AdSense on your website or your blog, it makes it much more easier to do the integration. So another one is WordFence for security. So WordFence, exactly this. And then another one is this Lightspeed Cache. Since the hosting add it automatically, so this is another great plugin. So there's a separate video explaining on how to set up all of those plugins, but I won't be doing that in this video. So guys, I hope you find value in all of this. I want to believe. So if you do, please give the video a thumbs up. If you have any question or any doubts, do leave them in the comment section below. And if you have any video requests relating to website design, relating to digital marketing in general, social media, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll be glad to create a video on that. Do make sure you share the video, guys. So thank you very much for watching this far. I really appreciate your time. And with that, guys, I'll see you all in another video. My name is Prosper.